Welcome to this week's EdTech Tuesday video. This video is on stoodle.ck12.org, and it is the last in our series about online formative assessment tools and checking for understanding tools. So we're going to start by going to stoodle.ck12.org, and this is an online interactive whiteboard. So you create a whiteboard for all of your students to work on at the same time. It is free, and many of the others that I looked at require a subscription. It does have some drawbacks to it, but it works in most situations. So if you go to this website, there is a menu there on the side that you can hide, but you really won't spend very much time in there. You can spend some time in community to kind of look and see what's out there, how people are using it, but it's really not all that helpful. So to get started, click on a launch in a classroom and then type in your name. I would recommend typing in the name that you use with students because that's what they will see. In the bottom left, there's a little chat and participants section, and that's where your name will appear. You'll get this Adobe Flash settings thing that's asking you if it can have access to your camera. I would recommend clicking deny unless you have a reason to include that, and then go ahead and click close and then close on this box as well. Now what you have is an interactive whiteboard space that you can share with your students. At the top there's a URL, and you can copy and paste that URL to Google Classroom and share it with your kids. Over here on the left is one menu where you can add boxes, circles, lines, images. You can clear your canvas, and you can add sound. Over on the right you can draw, you can add text, you can move objects around, you can delete objects, and you can undo and redo. On the bottom far right, there is a color palette to choose from, which is quite limited. So for the rest of the video, I'm going to show you how to use some of these features. They're pretty user-friendly. And then I'm also going to give you some ideas of how you can use this in your classroom. So to get started, you'll want to share this document with your students by copying and pasting that address in the URL bar to your kids. I would copy it and then paste it into Google Classroom so all of your students can access it. So let's say that we're having a lesson where I want students to show me the different types of triangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the draw feature, which is in the upper right corner of the screen, and I'm going to draw 3 different types of triangles. So you'll see here that drawing with a mouse pad is not exactly the easiest way to include lines in your drawing, but it does work. It's just not great. So I'm attempting to draw 3 different types of triangles, and you can see that my line on that last one is really not very good. So if I wanted to delete that, then I go over here to the right and I click on the little box with the X in it. Then I hover over the part that I want to delete, and it will highlight it for me, and then I just click and it disappears. So then I can go back up to the pen tool and attempt to redraw this line. Didn't turn out a whole lot better, but slightly better than before. But I could delete it again and try to draw it again for a 3rd time if I wanted to. I could delete the whole triangle and try to draw the whole triangle again. But as you can see, it's not real easy to use a drawing tool, but it is possible. And it does take some practice. Now I could also add some text to label my different types of triangles. So I'm going to click in the space where I want to add it, and then I'm going to put in a label for each one. And if I would like, I can also change the color of the writing. So I just click on a different color, and then I can rewrite the word. And now I have it there, and then I would just delete my original one if I didn't like that color. Now I can move all of these into the proper place by clicking on that square with the plus inside of it and move them around. I could also move my triangles, but when I do that, I'm moving individual pieces at a time, which may not be the most convenient. But I can also move my other labels into the right place. I can add other shapes like circles, and then I could move those circles to the place that I wanted it to go. I could write some text and then put it inside the circle. And then I can move that so that it's in the right place within my circle. I can also add squares. I can add lines, which probably would have been a better idea for these triangles than trying to draw them myself. And you can see that I end up with a much better triangle by using the line drawing feature rather than my poor attempts to use the pen tool. You can also use this little trash can here to clear your entire canvas, and that will erase everything that you've done. So that would be one way to clear everything that students have done. So I'm going to give you another idea of how to use this. You could also upload pictures and then have students interact with those pictures. So we're going to click over here on the left and look at some of the other features that are available. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go to the little one that looks like a paper with an arrow on it. And I have to size my picture before I choose it. That is somewhat frustrating. Once you choose the size, you cannot resize it. But once you get used to doing it that way, it's not too horrible. So you click on it, you drag it, and that makes the size of your image. Then automatically it will open up all these options for pulling pictures. You can choose one from your computer that you already have. I think probably the easiest though is to use a link. So you can go to images.google.com, and I did that here. I chose a diagram of a flower and its parts, and so I'm choosing one that's blank so students can write in the answers. And there's lots of different options here. So I chose one that I thought could work, and now I'm going to click on View Image, and I'm going to copy the URL, the address, and I'm going to paste it into that URL box there on Stoodle. And now I have a preview of the picture to make sure it's the right one, and then I'm going to click Upload, and it's going to upload it right there onto my canvas. So now my students can use the text feature and they can type in there what those different pieces are labeled. So you can see how having a whole group working on this at once could be really helpful for you to check and see what your students really know. You can also add multiple pages to your document, and I think that it's difficult to see here with the way that I have this formatted, but I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger so that you can see how you can add new pages to this canvas, to this whiteboard. So I made my screen a little bit larger, and you can see there on the bottom right there are those little green arrows. If you click on the one to the right, it will add another page to your whiteboard. So now you have your original page and now you have a new blank page. So you can see how you could do a series of lessons or a series of activities with students where they're adding things to the different parts. This could also be a way that you could do it in a lecture mode. So your students can chat with each other in that chat feature. You have the picture that you can add there. So there's lots of different ways that you could use this whiteboard. It is free, and so it does have some hang-ups. There are other versions of online whiteboards, but every one that I've tried out has cost money. So this is the free one that works really well, and it's not too difficult. It has limited options, which makes it easier for kids that don't have as many choices, and that can be really helpful in the classroom. This ends our video series on digital checking for understanding tools online, formative assessment tools online. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And next week and the weeks following, we're going to be starting a new series on secrets to becoming a Google Docs ninja. So I will show you some of the interesting features of Google Docs that you may not be aware of that may help you be more efficient. Thanks for watching.